The plan for today is to take a guided tour of the Sydney Cricket Ground, SCG, also known by some as Sachin's Cricket Ground. I planned it so that no game was scheduled for the day because I wanted to see the home and visiting team dressing rooms, which would have been off limits otherwise. There is a museum that we were let into in the beginning. It had some interesting artifacts about the players who once played on these grounds, which have hosted a wide variety of sports, not just cricket. The reason why I called it Sachin's Cricket Ground is because Sachin Tendulkar really had an amazing legacy here, scoring 785 runs in 5 tests at an average of 157 with 3 centuries.
And everybody else who's visiting us from overseas or other parts of Australia, it's great to have you here today. So who's here for the very first time at the Sydney Cricket Ground? Well, it's nearly everyone. Well, I can almost tell you anything there, can't I? Maybe get away with it. Well, welcome then to this very historic field. We're one of the oldest sporting fields in the world still being used continuously. We had our first cricket match here in 1854. So we're celebrating 171 years of cricket this summer, which is exciting. But you might have noticed from the museum we've played a lot of other sports here as well, particularly in the winter months. So right from the 1880s we've been a multi-sport facility. In fact, the first other game that we played here was Australian rules football, oddly enough. New South Wales played Victoria in what we now call AFL, or Australian rules football. It didn't really take off in Sydney that much, so that sport moved to other grounds, and rugby union moved in, and then rugby league and soccer, and we had athletics and tennis and baseball, lawn bowls even. You name it, just about every ball sport has been played on this ground at one time or another. I grew up here in Sydney, and the SCG is where you came for all the major outdoor events. A rugby league grand final, a cricket test match, a soccer friendly, the Beach Boys in concert. all the outdoor events were held here because it was the one big ground that we had. But now we have many purpose-built stadiums all over Sydney, particularly after the 2000 Olympics. And so most of those sports and events have now gone elsewhere. And we've now gone back to the original two. We now play Australian rules football, which is now very popular in Sydney, in the winter months with the Sydney Swans, and then we have the cricket program during the summer. Now we're in the cricket season now, so this tour will mostly reflect cricket. So who would call themselves a cricket fan here? Who would call themselves a loved one supporting a cricket fan? Okay, well I'll try and keep it interesting for you as well. It'll be mostly cricket we focus on, but we'll have a think about a few football things as well. If you've got any questions at any time about any sport, any event, any players or teams, please just ask me and I'll try my best to answer you. This is your tour, not mine, so if I can give you the information or the insights that you're looking for, I'll try and do that for you. There's a lot of history here and a lot of currency here. Obviously we're very excited because the Ashes is about to begin and the last test match will be played here. I guess we all hope the series will still be alive by the 5th test, and more importantly we hope the rain will keep away. The weather has been so good in Sydney in the last few years, so we're really hoping we'll get a good dry spell at that time. So lots to explore and lots to discover. Any questions from any of you now, from anything you've seen in here? Captain, I was an aggressive batter, and that's the way I want to look. So the slog sweep for 6, I think is a pretty good shot. She actually holds a batting record. Here's one for the ladies. She was the first player ever to get a double 100 in a 50-over international. Now a lot of people think that was Sachin Tendulkar. He was the first man to do it. The first player to do it much earlier was Belinda Clark. 229 not out of 155 balls in the 97 World Cup. Does that sound aggressive enough?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. So she lived up to her claim. So Belinda is here, Richie over there, and Steve, of course. If you're a cricket fan, you'll know that when a player's in that pose, what do they just hit? A century or more. That's right. And this is the day that Steve Waugh got 100 on the SCG against England in 2003, dramatically with a 4 off the last ball of the day. It's one of those innings where a lot of people remember where they were, because they were either at the ground or they were glued to their TV set, because to make it even more exciting, Steve was batting for his place in Welcome to the press conference room. We've all seen press conferences or know of them? Yeah, so when we have a football game,
This is where the press would sit and watch the games.
If you're an older cricket fan, you might remember Alan McGilvray. He was the voice of summer, and now Jim Maxwell. He's our ABC sort of male. So this is the Fox box. Please come in. Start your comment.
Live commentary is broadcast from this room. It looks shoddy and small, but they put white screens behind the commentators to hide all the mess. This is the entrance to visitors' dressing room. A unique tradition involves a cabinet door where significant individual achievements by visiting players, centuries or 5-wicket hauls, are inscribed by the room attendant, creating a living history of the ground's events. The room is a must-see stop on guided tours of the SCG, offering fans a unique, behind-the-scenes look at where visiting teams strategize and relax. This is the SCG home dressing room, designed with a layout that encourages team unity. Unlike the more traditional visitors' room, the home room is designed to inspire the local side with a blend of elite modern facilities and deep-rooted heritage.
Called the Naughty Boys Night. Yeah. And Australian cricketers are just as superstitious as everybody else. So they all have their own seats and they don't move. So you may know these names from the current test team. All the fast bowlers sit up the back here. They call it the Fast Bowlers Union. Mitchell Stark in the corner. Josh Hazlewood there, who's now out of the first test, have you heard, with his hammy. We'll have no bowlers left soon. Scott Boland next to him, and then Pat Cummins, the captain. All against the back wall. Australian wicketkeeper always sits here. So Alex Carey for the men's team. Anyone know the women's team's captain?
Healy.
Healy, Melissa Healy. So she sits there when the women are occasionally here. Back to the men's team, Cameron Green, big tall all-rounder from Western Australia, sits here. India's favourite player, Travis Head. Sorry guys. He sits there. Marnus Labuschagne sits in the middle. Looks at his good mate Steve Smith in the corner over here. That's David Warner's old seat, and he's retired now. So the 19-year-old Sam Constas sat there, except he's been dropped from the team. So there'll be a new player there. You know Mitch Marsh, T20 one-day captain for Australia, sits there, and that's the 12th man seat. So you're making drinks for everyone now. Oh, good on you. I'm sure they'll be delicious. And over here we have the GOAT. No offence. It stands for greatest of all time. Anyone know who that is? The nickname's Gary, Gazza, Bowl of Gary, Nathan Lyon, the spinner. So they all have their own seat, and they don't move unless somebody gets dropped, and then a new player will come into their seat if they can. If it's difficult, I'll do it now. If it's impossible, I'll do it presently. He wrote that when he was 20 years old. G'day, mate. Miss you.
The tour offered an immersive, behind-the-scenes experience through one of Australia's most iconic sporting venues. I thoroughly enjoyed the tour and highly recommend it.